Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me for Wlbt Plus. My name is Kara Shirley, and I am your digital news desk host. I am joined here with Morgan Harris. She is an anchor, our weekend nightly anchor, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes, and she is also one of our reporters here. And you have been the one at the courtroom for the most of the
Yes.
time for the trial for Jordan Cummins.
Yes, and earlier today he was found guilty on both counts, first-degree murder.
Mhm.
The jury was only gone, I'd say, for it was definitely less than 2 hours when we
Wow.
found out that the verdict was in, got there, and the judge handed it over. The clerk
Yeah.
read the verdict.
So there was no hung jury, and where this concerned, it was a
No,
very quick decision.
it was very swift, very
Yeah.
swift, less than 2 hours. We were back in there, and the verdict was read.
So tell us, and she was there yesterday when they did the closing arguments. The
Yes.
attorneys, tell us what that was like. What was the atmosphere like in the courtroom?
Um, I'd say my perspective, of course, both sides are arguing their points. In my opinion, it was a little tense, of course, on both sides. That was their last time the jury was going to hear from them. The prosecution, both sides stuck to what they said the entire trial. The prosecution was saying, of course, that multiple witnesses have laid out this case, saying that Jordan Cummins was beating his girlfriend, Jennifer Lukens. After that, a group ran over to try and stop the altercation. He was hit in the face by a couple of the men. Next thing you know, he pulls out the gun and he shoots, and he ultimately kills the two victims.
Right.
And then the defense stuck to their guns, and they're saying that, this was a case of self-defense. So that was the atmosphere of the closing arguments. They were basically just reiterating those points. And something that stood out to me was that the prosecution said that if it wasn't for Jordan Cummins hitting his girlfriend, we wouldn't be here. The defense says if it wasn't for one of the people who ran up to the car, then we wouldn't have been in this situation. But ultimately, two people lost their lives. So
They did.
Very sad case.
And the people that lost their lives, I have them right here. Let me get this pulled over here. So we have Jubilee Simpkins.
Yes.
She lost her life. You can see her here. Beautiful, beautiful young lady. She was 23 years old.
Yes.
And then the other person that ended up losing their life that day was 27-year-old Joshua Spann, and you can see him on your screen right there. But they lost their lives that day
They did.
because of the choices that were made, and by Jordan Cummins, and the jury today said
Yes.
guilty.
Yes.
So they were in trial for how many days for this?
It was seven
7
days. I think, if I'm not mistaken, 17 witnesses were called by the prosecution. The defense called Jordan Cummins' first cousin, Jenny Lukens, and then, of course, Jordan Cummins to the stand. So.
Yes. Now, Jenny Lukens is the girlfriend that was involved in this, and she is also was arrested.
She is, and she's been charged with hindering prosecution for her alleged role in the case. And she, on the stand, of course, still standing by what Jordan Cummins is saying. They both are saying that this was a case of self-defense, and she says that he wasn't beating her in the car. They both have said that he was hitting the backs of the seats and the dash, but that he was not hitting Lukens.
But there was text messages that were shown saying different, correct?
I think that was a prior encounter that they may have had.
Okay. All right.
A prior encounter.
Be sure we're clarifying all that.
Yes.
So we don't want to say anything that's not true. But so throughout the trial, you have here that they brought up the witnesses, multiple witnesses that were there that saw this happen, that witnessed the shooting. I know they played surveillance video of the shooting, and you could see it happening. Very hard to watch to see that. But you also today, after the trial and after the verdict was given, you spoke with some of the family members, correct?
Yes, the DA spoke. Auden Jubilee Simpkins' father spoke, and then Joshua Spann's family was there. It was very emotional, of course, but both families, you can tell, extremely emotional. I mean, they both have lost children in this case, so that was the mood after.
We're going to play a clip real quick for everybody of the interviews that you had with them.
Okay.
As pleased as we are with the verdict, we don't take any joy in this. The loss of Josh and Jubilee is a hole that really can't be filled, and I felt that especially 3 days ago on Father's Day.
On behalf of Joshua's family, we would like to thank everybody who had a part in convicting Jordan Cummings for this. You took a great soul from us, and I hope you suffer for the rest of your life.
Wow. That is it's very powerful scene there. That was Joshua's father who was there crying.
Yes, and he initially tried, I could tell he was trying to speak
Mhm.
to reporters after, but as you can see, he was extremely emotional, and someone else from the family then came and
Right.
spoke on their behalf. But yes.
So sad. It's so sad to see that. And then you think, well, maybe there was a sense of justice that they felt today with these guilty verdicts coming in, but really, it's not going to bring them back. It's not going to bring these people back. And so there is still a very, I'm sure, a visible hole in their life.
Yes.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming in and talking to us. Like we said,
Yes. And
she was there the whole time.
Joshua Cummings' attorney today actually said that he does plan to appeal this case, just to let you know. Yes. And he says that he believes that evidence was brought into this case that should not have been admissible. And I'll have more on that in our evening newscast. But Jordan Cummings will be sentenced Monday at 1.
Okay. And we will definitely be there for the sentencing. And of course, like she said, she's going to have more on the appeal that the attorney says he's going to be filing for this. So make sure you're tuning into our newscast later tonight so that you can get that information. Thank you so much for coming in, Morgan. Now we're going to switch and talk about the situation or an update that is happening with Daniel Callihan, who was found guilty of murder. And let me get my stuff pulled up for you guys so I can show you this. So you see him. This is when he went, or wasn't found guilty of murder. I apologize for that misspeak. He was actually arrested for murder. He was arrested for murder for the 4-year-old Erin. And she was killed. She was found killed in Jackson last week. So Wlbt was there the night where he was taken and put into a police vehicle when he was moved. And we have the video. You can watch it on our website where he is admitting his guilt in this. He's saying, of course, he was guilty and that he did it, and that claiming that he has bipolar disorder, saying that that was a condition that has been diagnosed, and saying that he deserves the death penalty, that he deserves to be that he deserves a lethal injection. He said in the video that that was going to be the easiest thing for him. Now, what we did was we spoke with an attorney here in the Jackson area about what his confession could mean for his case. And here is what that attorney had to say.
He knew where he was. He knew why he was there. He knew the events that he was going to be face charges for. He knew that death penalty might be lurking out there, and he talked about it in a way that was relevant to the subject. If that represents his mental state, that's checks off the considerations for competency to stand trial.
So they're saying he knew where he was at. He knew his mental state. He knew what was going on with that. And
he knew where he was. He knew why he was there. He knew the events. So
that could say that he is totally competent and able to stand trial for this. Now, we'll see. He is going to be facing some federal charges because he did drive the 2 girls across state lines, and he is set to appear before the federal judge next week. Again, he killed his the little girl, 4-year-old Erin Burnett, and also is accused of killing her mother, Callie Burnett. Now, let me get this pulled up for you guys. I apologize. It's a little crazy today, going a little different today. So trying to make sure I get everything in order. I see you guys, see what you're saying here, and I will get that fixed. I apologize for that. Thank you so much. So there was a city council meeting that was held yesterday, and Council is looking to introduce an ordinance that's going to require businesses described as being associated with violent hours of operation to have security guards in place. Now, past proposals that have been put forward for this requiring 24-hour convenience stores to have security overnight, but it's unclear if that proposal was ever forced. But Councilman Stokes is pushing forward, saying that he is looking for ways to stop Jackson, stop violence here in Jackson.
We need to make sure that if your business has a history of violence, that you must have security there during your hours of operation. Stop taking human lives and playing with them.
So he is saying, that we need to have someone there, during the hours of operation. What do you guys feel about this? I know that could be a large strain on business owners, but if it is a business that is having a lot of violence in that area or associated with their hours of operation, as is stated here, it could be considered a reasonable request for some people. So I do wonder what you guys think about that. Do you feel like that is something that maybe should be put into place or not? They're going to be talking about this more in next week's city council meeting, and we will follow that. So let's see. All right, so I see you guys here in our Facebook Live. I appreciate you tuning in. I see your comment, Janie and Rachel. Thank you so much for watching and for commenting. I appreciate you. Sharon Dukes here saying that why punish businesses? Why not put money and energy in educational programs for underserved parents and children? That could be... that is a good question. And that could be something that is definitely brought forward to them, asking why do this to the businesses and why not put that money in other places? Now, one thing I'm not sure of is if there is going to be any money put in from the city for the businesses to have this 24-hour security. But we don't know. We will find out, and we will definitely let you guys know. Chris Williams here, he says that you can't blame the businesses for what people are doing on the outside because it wouldn't be too many businesses left in the area, like in Councilman Stokes' ward. Thank you so much, Chris, for your opinion. And like I said, we're going to be watching these. We're looking at these opinions. We're looking at your comments. And as we'll maybe put those forward as questions to the council, to Councilman Stokes, and see what they say about those. So thank you guys so much. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is a inmate in DeSoto County, and he has been charged with attempted murder, and he is on the run. So U.S. Marshals did issue a new wanted poster for him. Here it is right here. And his name is Joshua Zimmerman. He is considered armed and dangerous, and officials are urging you not to approach him if you see him. They're asking that you instead please call 911. If there's anything that you know that could help put this murder suspect behind bars, you can call the number on the poster, which is 800-336-0102. And there is a reward that leads to information to his capture. And that reward is $10,000. So if you have anything that you could help with in telling that information, please call 800-336-0102. So Zimmerman escaped when he was taken into the courthouse there in DeSoto County by officials. And people have been asking, how could he escape? He's at the courthouse. How did that happen? He's walked out of the courthouse after having his ankle shackles unlocked. So DeSoto County District Attorney Matthew Barton says that the historic courthouse in Hernando does need a lot of work. He's saying that the county has outgrown the building and they need a new one for modern times.
Security features in this building are lacking. We have inmates that walk in public access areas. We do not have a holding cell. We don't have cameras in the courtroom. We don't have cameras that are being monitored in real time. And there's things like that that just have to be improved.
So DA Barton says that since he took office back in January, he was only aware of one person, which is Zimmerman, escaping from the courthouse. He says that too many people, or too many, especially when the person is dangerous as Zimmerman, this one person too many. He says a push for a new courthouse or justice complex near the DeSoto County Jail has support from the DeSoto County Board of Supervisors. But if you do see this man, if you have any information on him and his whereabouts, please again contact the number that is on the poster. That phone number is 800-336-0102. So again, he is considered armed and dangerous. If you see him, please call 911 and do not approach him. So Councilman Stokes also brought up at the council meeting talking about wait times for AMR, the ambulance service here. He's saying that it can take too long for an ambulance to arrive after calling 911 here in Jackson. So at the council meeting, he told his colleagues that he had called for help after an elderly woman had passed out. And he was told that help was on the way, but no one came. And then he said he called again 45 minutes later and that the dispatcher hung up on him. So he is saying that his experience was not unique and that this is a problem that needs to be addressed.
When you're older, a second could be the difference between whether you live or you dead. So I'm hoping that AMR will recognize they need to fix this system. Stop making excuses and let's fix it. It need to be corrected or we need somebody else.
Now, he says during his experience where the woman passed out that an ambulance did eventually arrive. But again, more than 45 minutes. You know, there's a lot of things that could play in here. What was happening at the time that happened? Was there a large event that required lots of paramedics there, EMTs there? You don't know. That's not something that we know, but it does bring those questions about. And is this something now? You know, in my a lot of people could believe that 45 minutes is too long, regardless of the outside circumstances of why it took that long. But Councilman Stokes is saying that something needs to be done to correct it. I don't know what could be done to correct it. Maybe bring in more ambulance drivers, bring in more paramedics, have more ambulances available for the public when they call 911. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think this is something that is valid, that requires a step in from city council or not? You know, let me know your opinions. There's also here in Jackson a group of South Jackson residents that are speaking out on some dangerous conditions in their neighborhood. Residents say that they are now afraid that someone is going to get hurt or possibly lose their life if the conditions are not fixed. And what they're talking about is the dangerous conditions of their streets, like the actual roadway. So the community here uses, they use Revere Street, and let me get this pulled up for you. So they use Revere Street, and they say that they have reached out to city leaders about their concerns for these massive potholes that are in the street, but they're falling on deaf ears. Now, some of the potholes appear to be several inches deep and have standing water in them. None of them have barricade signs on them or signs to let drivers know that they're even there. One resident says that squatters have also taken over an abandoned house on the street and broken a water line, and she believes that situation has only made the problem worse.
At first, it wasn't this bad. It was a little pothole over here, and you could go around it. And then it kept getting worse and worse as the water keeps running. Pothole control's been called. Aaron Banks has been called. His assistant's been called.
Like anybody that's come through here is gonna tell their car if they don't know where they're going. It need to be fixed, like seriously fixed, bad, quick.
So 3 on your side, we did reach out to Councilman Aaron Banks about the issue, and he told us that he would ensure Public Works is aware of the urgent matter. Now, at this time, there is no time frame for when the potholes are going to be fixed. We're going to take a look at our forecast now. We have Peyton Garrison in here with us to look at, well, tell us what it's looking like outside, Peyton.
Well, we're heating up. I mean, yesterday it was a little bit dreary, a little wet at times with some light passing showers. But I mean, today we have increasing winds. We have some more sunshine trying to break through those pesky clouds, and that is resulting in some warmer weather. So it will be noticeably warmer getting out the door, maybe to grab some late lunch. It's 88 already in Jackson, Lexington, and Vicksburg, which they're sitting at 86 degrees. And today is almost that transition day where we start to see the chance of rain go down. There may be an isolated shower, but we start to see noticeably warmer temperatures, and that's going to be noticed by this weekend. Tomorrow is the first day of summer, so the first week of summer is only appropriate to feature some pretty steamy conditions.
Very steamy conditions, very hot conditions,
Yes.
but at least there's no rain. So, I mean, if you have weekend outdoor plans, then it's a good weekend for that.
Yeah, I'm not completely, ruling out possibly a stray shower, especially Sunday. We're talking about in our far most southern areas, say, for instance, Lawrence, Jeff Davis, maybe Smith, Walthall counties. This area would be the best chance of maybe seeing a stray shower Sunday. But even if you see the rain, I don't think many would even mind it, considering it may drop temperatures just a couple of degrees back, because we're talking about middle and upper 90s this weekend. It's going to feel closer to 100 degrees, and that heat index will only rise, especially maybe early next week. We could be looking at heat index values between 105 to 110 degrees. So the heat, it's going to be building.
Wow, that is,
Yes.
that's not fun.
Yeah, I'm
Not
not
fun.
looking forward to it. The past couple of days have been not so bad, especially yesterday, low 80s for high temperatures in mid-June, not bad. But, we can only hold on to it for so long before we really start to see the heat crank up.
That is true. It is coming regardless of what we
Yes.
think. So we got those heat indexes looking next week.
Mhm.
Did you say no rain for next week in the forecast, or what are you thinking?
Next week is when we may introduce a chance for better opportunities of rain and storms in the forecast. I don't think we see much on the radar between today and Sunday. Good news, again, if you have any outdoor plans, come next week, that starts to change, especially by around this time. Next Wednesday, towards the end of next week, that is when we may start to see maybe more of an active weather pattern. We're going to be watching that closely. It's still about a week out. So we're going to be watching that over time. But until then, low wind rain chances, just hotter weather. So, I mean, this time of year, I really don't even mind see some wet weather because it keeps the heat down just a little bit. But we may have to wait a while before we see more rain around here.
All right, well, thank you so much, Peyton. I
Thank you.
appreciate you coming in and talking to us. Give us a look at what our forecast is going to be. And hopefully nothing severe pops up
Yeah.
over the next
Doesn't look like
few
severe,
days.
which is good news, but again, we'll watch it closely.
Thank you so much. Well, guys, we're going to tell you now about the state fair that is happening, and you can go ahead and get your tickets for that if you want to. So if you go to MississippiStateFair.com, you can get your tickets they're on pre-sale now through October 2nd. And they're $8 per person, which is $2 less than what you'll pay at the gate on the days of the fair. The Agricultural Commissioner, Andy Gibson, also announced the fair's entertainment lineup this year. We have performers like Drew Hill, Ronnie McDowell, Matthew West, and the Oak Ridge Boys. And the fair is going to run from October 3rd through the 13th. I got to meet I got to talk on the phone with one of the Oak Ridge Boys when I was a radio DJ, the one that has like the really deep voice. And I feel bad that I cannot remember his name, but he was a really nice guy. So it'd be neat to see them in person there at the state fair. Well, we're going to jump into a little bit of a different subject now, little different stories, kind of something that has happened. Well, it's not kind of something. It is something that has happened to me. And it was some contact that I had with a scammer over Facebook. So my family just moved here, and we were looking to purchase a golf cart. Looked into Facebook Marketplace and reached out to someone that had one for sale, and messaged them, is it available? Can we come look at it? And the person started speaking in ways that was kind of shady, showing things that did not seem to line up. And it made me feel kind of like to myself that this is probably not legit. This is probably a scammer. I saw in one of the videos that they had sent me of the golf cart that a real estate agent that was on a sign in their yard was from Hattiesburg. So I was like, if you're in, it said they were in Madison. I was like, if you're in Madison, why do you have a realtor from 3 hours away selling your home? And at that point, this person then started making death threats to me and to my children, and trying to extort us, and for not a lot of money, because there's not a lot to extort here. But they started making some threats that were rather scary when you think about how much of people's life they can put out on social media, as well as being someone who does work in the public eye. And so it was a very scary situation. And not that I think that it may actually happen, but the threats that they made was not ever something that I had encountered or experienced before. So what I did was I ended up calling the FBI, the local office here in our area, and I spoke with someone, also filed a report with them on that, gave all the information that they had given me, trying to get me to send them money. And the FBI said that sadly, scams like this, including the death threats, is something that is all too common, that scammers will either try to sell you something that they don't really have, which is what happened there. And then when you're not willing to purchase that item or even give them money up front, they will start making threats like they did with me. Death threats, threats of kidnapping, it was intense. But just kind of sharing this information with you guys, because what the FBI told me was that first off, need to make sure that whenever you have someone make those type of threats to you, to immediately block them on Facebook. This person, whoever the person was that was scamming me, wherever they're from, whoever they were, they also used the Facebook profile that they had hacked and tried to send friends requests to all of my friends and family, and had to reach out to all of my friends and say, hey, if this person sends you a friend's request, please block them. But something the FBI told me that I wasn't aware of, that I didn't know happened, or even was a possibility of happening, was that also the scammers can hack another account, and they will start messaging people and be like, hey, I'm a victim of this scammer. They also reached out to me, and then they will try to get money from people that way too. So telling you guys this so that if it is something you ever encounter on social media or online in any way, do what you can to block the people. If anyone says that they are a victim of that scammer and you don't know that person personally, like you don't see them in person, that you may want to also block that person. Need to let your friends and family know about this happening. Don't give them any money, no matter what they say. And then also go to the FBI's website, and there's a place online where you can file a report, and you can send them all of the information, and they will do what needs to happen there and investigate it. And hopefully maybe they'll be able to find who the person is. But if not, at least they have the information on file. So maybe it can help in the future. So just keep aware of that. If you see something that looks suspect on social media, or they start talking to you in a way that seems suspect, just go ahead and block them and leave it alone. Or if you see someone who randomly has a bunch of stuff for sale that does not look like something they would have for sale or is very unusual, try to reach out to that person not through social media, but in another way to see if that is really them. And never send money. Never send money. Never pay for anything unless you see it in person and you are talking in person to the one who is selling it. But that is all for WLBT Plus today. And again, make sure you're tuning into our newscast tonight because Morgan will be there with more information on the verdict today. Of course, we know that he was found guilty. He being Jordan Cummins, he was found guilty today on 2 counts of first-degree murder. His sentencing date rather is next Monday at 1:00. But today, when Morgan spoke with the defense attorney, Cummins' attorney, he said that he was going to be filing an appeal on this, stating that there was evidence brought in that should not have been allowed in the case. So Morgan's going to have more for that or more on that for you tonight during our newscast. You can watch those on the WLBT news app. You can download the news app. You can watch them as they are happening, or you can go back and watch on demand. And don't forget to download the WLBT weather app, the First Alert weather app, so that if there is any kind of weather coming your way that is not favorable, or you just want to find out what your forecast is for your area, you can find all of that out on our weather app. And of course, always on our website, WLBT.com. Like today was a little different, got a little of a shaky start, but I appreciate you guys staying here and tuning in. I see you all here on Facebook, and I do appreciate it. I appreciate you guys commenting, leaving your thoughts and your opinions on things. And we will be back tomorrow at 1:00 here on WLBT Plus. Again, make sure you tune into our newscast tonight. You guys have a great day. Bye.